So the third analysis when you're looking to seal and expunge your case is what is the process itself? So if you first look at, do I qualify? If I'm looking to expunge a case, has it been dismissed, null prost, dropped, administrative dismissal, I've completed diversion, or it's been sealed for 10 or more years. And then second, if you're looking to seal a case, was it adjudication withheld? And you've made sure that the charge itself is something that's eligible and there's no other statutory reason to block you from sealing and expunging a case. Again, what is the process to do that? Well, the process has many steps. It does take a few months to do this. So sometimes when potential clients will call, hey, I got a job interview next week and I really want to get this off my record, it's not going to be done that fast. It just isn't done that fast. The process entails, first, there's an application, and it does differ slightly whether you're sealing or expunging a case. Let's start with a sealing, and then when an expungement requires an extra step, I'll dictate that. The application itself can be found on the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website, or if you have an attorney, they can provide this to you. You will indicate your name, your aliases, your contact information, who the agency was that initially arrested you or who charged you, what date, and all of that vital information, what the charge was. This application must be notarized. You cannot simply write and sign it and think that's enough. When it comes to sealings and expungements, from experience I can tell you it's very meticulous, has to be very accurate. If you are off by a day, if you don't sign something properly, if you indicate the wrong subsection on a statute, the whole thing is going to be kicked back and you're going to either need to correct it or start over. So again, as to a sealing, you will just need to complete the application. If you are looking to expunge a case, there's an additional step with your application where it must be sent to the state attorney's office in the judicial circuit, or specifically in the county in which the case that you are trying to expunge originated in. And that office will also indicate that the case was dropped, dismissed, or whatever reason it does qualify for an expungement, and they will also sign that area as a part of the entire application. In addition to the application, you will need to submit a certified copy of the case disposition. So again, if you're looking to seal the case, this is typically a withhold of adjudication. If you were placed on probation, you will also need a certified copy that you successfully completed probation and that the adjudication remained withheld. If the case was administratively dismissed, null prost, or no information was filed and you're looking to expunge a case, obviously, there won't be a probationary requirement document, but you will still need a certified copy of that no information, null prost, administrative dismissal, etc. to accompany your application form. Also, you will need a fingerprint card. Again, this document is downloadable from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website, or you can get this from your lawyer. These will need to be original ink fingerprints, and they must be done in Florida by a law enforcement entity. Now, if you live out of state, you can have this done with an out of state, but it must be a law enforcement entity. You cannot go to the UPS store and have this done, even if they think they're authorized to do so. If they're not done by a law enforcement agency, your package can be rejected on that basis alone, and you will have to redo them. Once you have the application documents, once you have the original ink fingerprint card, and once you have a certified disposition of the case, you or your lawyer will need to submit that package along with, as of 2022, a $75 application fee and send this whole package to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in Tallahassee. Then the waiting begins. There is a multi-month process where FDLE will make an inquiry of all the 67 counties in the state of Florida, as well as the other 49 states in the country and federal systems. Is there any other reason or any convictions or anything prohibiting this person from getting the sealing or expungement they're applying for? If there is, you will be sent a rejection letter, and it will indicate on the letter why you're being rejected. If there is not, you will be issued the certificate of eligibility either to seal or expunge your case, depending on what you applied for. This is more or less the golden ticket you will need. Your certificate of eligibility has a specific number on it that's issued by FDLE and signed, and you will attach this to the next step in the process. That next step is now applying to the court and indicating to all the government agencies that you are moving to get your case sealed or expunged. You will have a copy of the certificate of eligibility submitted. You will file a petition with the court, and again, this can be a little complicated if you don't know what you're doing, which is why a lawyer can help you. You will send a proposed order for the judge, basically writing out the exact verbiage of the order that the judge will review and sign. And you will also submit an affidavit stating that since applying, you have not otherwise become ineligible. In other words, once you submit this package, let's say you submit everything on January 1st, and you get your certificate of eligibility back on April 1st. It took a few months for FDLE to process it. You will need to execute a notarized affidavit stating between the day of application and the date you receive that, you haven't picked up any other new charges, you haven't been arrested for anything else, nothing else has changed in your life that would otherwise invalidate your ability to seal or expunge. You will submit that affidavit, the certificate of eligibility, the petition, and the order to the jurisdictional county where you were, whatever judicial circuit, whatever county it was, to the clerk of court. There will be a filing fee depending on the jurisdiction, what county it is, whether it's a seal or expungement, and numbers of copies that are needed. They will generate a filing fee which you will need to pay before that process goes through. You will also need to indicate what specific state attorney's office. Again, some judicial circuits have more than one county that makes up that circuit. You will need to indicate what sheriff's office has your records. You will need to indicate what arresting agency. So say here in Hillsborough County, where my office is located, you might be arrested by the Tampa Police Department, but you will be taken to the Hillsborough County Jail upon your arrest. Well, to have your case sealed and or expunged, depending on what's going on, both entities will need to be informed, and both entities will need to be issued an order by the court to make sure that that information is no longer publicly available. So again, all of these entities will need to be listed on the petition and the order. Once everything is submitted, once everything is reviewed and made its rounds through all the entities, and a judge reviews it and everything is accurate, a judge will sign the order either to seal the case or expunge the case, and a copy of that will be provided to you and or your attorney, and then you will find that that case is no longer public record. So if you search for your case on a clerk of court website, for example, it won't say, well, here's the person, here's the case, but it's now sealed or it's now expunged. It will just simply be deleted from public record. Now, in this day and age of technology, there may be some remnants or records of the case, but these will typically be on these scumbag websites where they'll just put your mugshot out there and demand $100 to take it down, or maybe there's a news story about your case. Sealings and expungements only take down the public information from government entities. So mugshots on police websites, any data on a sheriff's department or jail website, any record with the clerk of court, that is what you are removing. And you'll often find that if that's removed, you can then challenge the other entity that's running the story or has that information out there, and they will take it down as they can no longer prove the veracity of the claim that you had a case because it's now no longer public record and doesn't exist. As always, if you have any questions about this or feel more comfortable with an attorney or want some expertise on how to seal or expunge your case, do reach out to an attorney in your area. If you happen to be in the Tampa area, you can contact my office. We'd be happy to speak to this case about you and help you through the process as needed.